Welcome to Gated Vibes. I'm your host, Bluff Arkin, and I'm here with Peter Frank. Did I do it right this time?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, Peter Frank. I had a little bit of a brain fart earlier. My apologies, Peter. Peter is a unicyclist that has been unicycling since you were 9 years old, right?
11 years old.
11 years old? Okay, pretty close. Right around there. And you're going on a journey all the way to Arizona.
Yeah. So it's a 2,000-mile journey.
And is that from Escanaba, Michigan?
It's from Appleton, Wisconsin.
So you're going to start here, but you're from Escanaba.
Yeah, I'm from Escanaba.
Okay. Can you just, you know your story, you kind of just tell your story, where it all started, and we'll go from there.
Sure. So my story, I believe, started when I was 11 years old. And at 11 years old, my brother, which is the biggest inspiration in my life, taught me how to unicycle. And ever since then, I've just been very dedicated into teaching myself everything that I can about unicycling, teaching myself new skills, new talents, and maybe even new tricks every now and then. So I got a unicycle about 6 months after he taught me. He taught me on his own unicycle, and then the following Christmas, so I learned on a Thanksgiving, and then the following Christmas, my parents got me my own unicycle, and I put it together, and I was so excited after that 6 months, and that I had that unicycle with me. I unicycled all the time, every single day of my life, and it got to the point where every parade that was available to me, every 4th of July parade, every holiday parade that was presented in my way, I would beg my brother to come with me, and I'd be like, hey, there's this new parade coming on, we gotta go unicycle all the time, and I was so excited, and I went to every parade I could, and then when I was 14 years old, I got run over by a car, and I was hiding in a leaf pile on my friend, and she went into dinner, and she had a leaf pile in the road in the middle of fall, and I went into this leaf pile, and I hit on her, and she came out, and I was planning to scare her and be like, as a young 14-year-old boy, and when I was hiding in the leaf pile, a couple of teenage boys were driving around town and thought that it would be very fun to drive through some leaf piles. Well, they didn't know or were aware that I was hiding in a leaf pile, but they drove through the leaf pile, and I broke 14 bones. I broke my L1 and L2 vertebrae. If it would have been an inch higher, I would have been paralyzed from the waist down for my entire life. So, thankful for that. I'm sorry.
No.
You can't be
You're distracted.
the rattling.
Shaking.
I'm
Of
sorry.
that's
It's picking
okay.
up on the
That's
recording.
okay. But I'm very sorry. The rattling of the thing is making my mind all boggling.
And it's going to pick up on the recording, too.
Yeah. Okay.
So you got hit by some young kids driving through a leaf pile, and you happened to be in the leaf pile.
Yeah.
That's where we left off, right?
Yeah. So I broke 14 bones, including my L1 and L2 vertebrae. I could have been paralyzed from the waist down for the rest of my life if it would have been an inch higher on my spine. To this day, I have 2 titanium rods along my spine and one in my right femur. And I actually ordered a t-shirt for unicycling the parade with my brother. It has Unibros on the back and I Heart Unicycles in the front with a picture of a unicycle. And I was wearing that t-shirt when I got run over, and they had to cut it off of me in the hospital because they couldn't move my body because I went through so many injuries that it would have been detrimental to my body to move my broken spine. So they had to cut off this t-shirt, and I have all of the pieces at my house. And I after that day, I went in a medically induced coma for about a week. I stayed about a month in the Marquette General Hospital, and because of the Beacon House in Marquette, Michigan, my family was able to stay and give me the support that I needed. And after that, I kind of lived my life like normal. Like, a basic normal teenager after recovery. I had a granny walker for about 6 months and recovered quite well, but through the Beacon House and everything, I was able to have that support behind me, and it was very, very helpful for me to have that at 14 years old. And anybody going through a detrimental kind of experience like that, it's incredible to be able to see your family and have that love and support behind you. So growing up, I didn't do a whole lot. I spent my life playing video games, very boring life. I did unicycle every day after that. When I got run over by a car, the doctor told me I'd never be able to unicycle again, and that was one of the most disheartening things I've ever experienced in my life, because that was my passion. That was where my love lied. And since I was told I wouldn't be able to unicycle again, that just gave me even more of a motivation to do it. And after about 6 months of recovery, as soon as I threw away the walker and I was able to walk on my own, I started picking up unicycling again, and I started unicycling every single day in the small town that I lived in. And I unicycled every day. And 2 years ago, back in 2019, I convised a plan to unicycle a very long distance for the Beacon House that was able to give me the support that I needed to recover in that situation, and to be able to see my family every day. I think I owe a lot to them. So back in 2019, I thought up this plan, and I started planning everything that I needed to do, everything that I could possibly run into. I started writing down on paper, and I started practicing every single day. Over the last summer, I unicycled miles upon miles every single day on this 36-inch unicycle that I purchased. And I've been practicing and conditioning myself to harsh environments, and now it's reached the time where I'm finally able to make that dream a reality. So within the next 2 weeks now, I plan to unicycle from Appleton, Wisconsin to Phoenix, Arizona, which is roughly 2,000 miles. And upon this trip, I want to raise awareness and raise funds for the Beacon House. So what I'm raising funds for is the hospital where the Beacon House is next to has moved 14 blocks away from where the Beacon House is, which means that families will be so far away from the Beacon House, it'll be hard to travel from place to place, because most people don't have the availability of traveling that far. Some people don't have the cars or the availability to travel all the way to the hospital to see their families every single day. So I am raising money because they are creating a new Beacon House. They're building a new Beacon House right next to the hospital. And people just like me that go through traumatic injuries so young in their life, that don't have any direction and don't have anywhere to go, that go through these traumatic experiences, are able to be there with their families because the Beacon House is making this new place right next to the hospital. So when you wake up in the morning, you'll be able to see your mother, your father, your family right there with you. And without that in my life, going through this experience, I don't think I would have been the same person. I really don't. I think I would have grown up a lot differently. I think I would have had a lot of bitterness towards the world, and I want to give back to that. I want to be the light in the world in some areas, to be able to grow in people's motivation and grow in people's faith.
Yeah, that's very inspiring. It's very inspiring, and it's very noble of you to pursue something like that, and you have such a good cause, and to have that experience and know that that chances are you'll be able to help somebody else in a similar situation in the future. Unfortunately, these things do happen, and it is good that something like that exists and is able to help people through such a time, because that's rough, man. And props to you for making it through, and the fact that you're getting on the unicycle again is amazing.
Peter,
and,
you are the beacon, and you are the light.
Thank you.
You are the beacon.
So, my question to you is, I guess I have a lot of questions, but one of them is just like, having that near-death experience, right? Is that part of the reason why you're like, yeah, I need to get on the unicycle and ride it as far as I can? Because I feel like that might have something to do with it as well. It's just like, it comes full circle. You're on the unicycle, your passion, the thing you love, and it's like you were told, you're not going to be able to do this again. Not only are you able to do it again, you're able to give back to the people that helped you get to the point where you can get on that unicycle again. And yeah, I just wonder if you just like, now that you are back to being able to unicycle again, is that kind of, you're just like, this is it, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to ride this unicycle? Is that kind of your vision now for yourself? So at least for the time being?
So I don't know actually how deep I can get into this topic, because I do have a lot of answers for you.
Yeah.
Because I actually plan to have a little bit of a filter through my videos that I'm making along this journey, but I don't know what your podcast specifically is about. But my answer to you is, through my near-death experience, I have reached a point where I've realized that life is too short to be taken for granted. We work 2 jobs and are promised 1 day off every 2 weeks, and we pay bills every single day and worship the god of money our entire lives, to the point where we are practically slaves to society and don't have anything to show for it other than a lousy paycheck every week. And some people are proud of our paychecks that we bring in, and that's props to you, good for you. You know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with working and having something to show for it, but in my experience, my life is too short to just waste it away working until I'm 70 years old and crippled. And sure, I might have money then in a retirement fund, but then I'll just be too old to enjoy it. You know?
I feel that, man.
And money isn't what life is about. That's not the motivation of my heart. That shouldn't be the motivation of anyone's heart. The motivation of your heart should be what you want to do, not be what money is restricting you to believe that you can do. You know what I mean?
All that glitters isn't gold.
I'm not going to lie and sugarcoat it. I don't have that much money. I certainly didn't have enough. I certainly didn't have enough to go on this trip, but I made it happen in whatever way I could. I asked for help, and I made it happen because this was my dream, not because I believed that money would take me this way, but I believed that I could take me this way. And I think a lot of people should realize this.
Life's too short to just slave away.
Yeah. After a near-death experience, you kind of realize the closer you get to physical death, the more you start to appreciate your life.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird irony, but it makes a lot of sense.
Awakening to the other side. You saw the other side.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. And I believe I did too, and I think that's what
I don't think the microphone's going to be able to pick you up, so it's going to be really confusing for the people.
I'm really sorry. I got invited up here, but
It's okay.
It's fine. We have a friend in the room with us who is just kind of listening and letting us use this space.
You can come in here if you would like to.
It's okay.
Alright.
So yeah, you kind of realize that this kind of people are kind of stuck in a circle, like they're on like a hamster wheel almost, kind of like chasing this carrot, which is money, and then by the time you're even able to enjoy the fruits of your labor, you're too old to enjoy it. And yeah, having that near-death experience has pushed you to realize something that honestly some people don't get to because you're 19 years old, correct?
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of people don't realize that until it's way too late, and thankfully you're like on top of it. Like you it's not like you haven't wasted time at all, in my opinion. I mean, you got back on your feet. You have a vision and something you want to do, and I think it's a vision of clarity, and I give you props for it. It's really a beautiful and brilliant thing, And not only is it the unicycle, your passion, something that you're it's the love of your life, it's what you want to do. You're combining that with giving back to the people who gave to you. And I think it's also eye-opening because a lot of people don't think about these things. Like if something were to happen to me or someone I love, and like, what do? Like, you can't just drop everything you're doing and go up. Yeah, I don't know. It's an amazing thing that I didn't even know such a thing existed. What is the?
Hi, can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. It looks like a storm's gonna start outside. I took the black guitar and put it inside next to the counter. That's your guitar, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. We moved like the tent and everything because it's really picking up out there.
It
so.
sounded windy, but
Yeah, it's a cute cat.
Maybe.
that's Mother
Well,
Zarina.
Yeah, I didn't
I
mean
feel
to
like we
bother
might.
y'all.
No, it's okay. I think we might have to cut this
Come
video
over here, 'cause
short
I'll
because of
be
that.
Yeah, Madeline, it's
I
okay. Yeah, she's
'Cause
probably
I have to
startled.
make sure my
There's a
stuff's
bunch of
in
hair.
being a videographer,
Thank
I
you, though. I
understand how you
appreciate
feel.
that. Yeah.
You don't feel
I
like
got
you're
that.
alone in your
I'm
frustration.
outside, too.
I
Okay.
understand how frustrated you are.
Yeah, it's kind of like I have the opportunity to talk to you now, and I want to take the opportunity
Yeah.
to talk to you. I'm glad you did. It's very inspiring. I really like the fact that you brought up, like, look, you have one life, like, this. I don't mean to get, like, political with it, but the system we have is fucking people and making them waste their lives, and I think it's an important message to send to people.
I think a lot of that is brought up through the school system as well. Now, personally, I was homeschooled, but I feel like that a lot of that wasn't the main upbringing for the way that I think now. I think the way that I think now is brought up through the people I may have interacted with. Some of it being the fact that I was homeschooled, and I could get so deep into this, but I won't because it's a very touchy topic to be in, and a lot of people don't like to hear about it because of their either religious views or societal views. And I could go and talk for days about different things that I believe in, but I'm not going to. I think I should just leave this at, you should follow your dreams and not believe that you can't because somebody told you you can't.
Absolutely, man. And if there's some way, by some miracle or something, that I can run into you again and do a 2.0 of this, that would be great. But I honestly think we got in a really good short little interview. I mean, you covered a lot. So what's the organization that you want to that helped your family, and how can you help donate to them? And can you kind of give the details on that at the end of the video here, just to tell people how you can help the cause?
Yeah. So the organization that I am supporting is called the Beacon House in Marquette, Michigan. I have my own website. If you visit whereispeterfrank.com, that will be basically a gateway for all of my videos, and to donate to the Beacon House, there is a link there to bring you to the Beacon House page. So
awesome. I think we covered it, really. I mean, we kind of had to go at it, but thank you, man. And I give you, like, props for what you're doing, and good luck, man. You're going to do it, man. I have 100% certainty. You got this.
I'll do another interview with you anytime that you want if I'm around.
Sounds good, man.
If I can, I'll give you my number and you can text me anytime.
Okay, and to the viewer, thank you for watching this little bit chaotic interview. I think it was good, though, and I think it was enjoyable, and you got to see the old behind-the-scenes cat coming up by us. And all right.
I think the cat was fine.
The cat was definitely maybe one of the best parts.